Title: Chronicle of the Seers Orb, a story by Ariel Sparks, a novel first draft, copyright Ariel Sparks 2025, Chapter 11, An Eye into the Familiar. The next morning, as the colors of dawn painted the sky with hues of gold, a guardian with skin the color of the earth's richest loam knocked gently on her door. "The Grand Elder Arafa requests your presence, young seer," he decreed. Adana was surprised, as Arafa should not want to see her until after her assessment. Yet she felt a strange comfort in the guardian's demeanor. His nod was reassuring, hinting that all was well. Alara followed him through the chambers and out onto the spiral steps. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very trees knew she was about to face the grand finale of her trials. The guardian's footsteps fleeted away as he left her before the grand doors of the chamber, carved from the heartwood of the sacred tree. The wood was etched with symbols that gleamed with the divination of ancient incantations. The doors loomed before her, like the gateway to a realm of knowledge, silent sentinels that had borne witness to countless trials of the spirit. A voice called out, "Enter Alara!" And with the grace of a leaf on the breeze, the grand doors to the chamber of the Grand Elder swung open before her. She stepped through, her heart pounding in a rhythm that seemed to mimic the songs of nature that echoed through the corridors of the grove. The chamber was indeed grander than any of her father's words had ever painted. It was a cathedral of sapience, a sanctum of ancient wisdom that stretched upwards like the branches of the sacred tree itself. The polished floorboards were as wide and as dark as the river she had crossed to get here. Each plank spoke tales of the guardians that had trodden upon them before her. The walls were adorned with tapestries that sang the crusade of 1,000 battles, the strands of each thread weaving a story of valor and sacrifice. Alara felt the aura of the room close in around her, their expectant hush as palpable as a hand upon her shoulder. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the scent of earth and wisdom that permeated the very air. The grand chair at the far end of the room was empty, yet she knew Arafa was there, watching her, reading her very thoughts. "Welcome, young seer!" Arafa's voice boomed, a velvet serenade that seemed to resonate from the very fabric of the chamber. Arafa emerged from the shadows as if she had been woven into the very fabric of the chamber itself, her form coalescing into a figure of regal grace. She glided across the floor, the sound of her footsteps a gentle crescendo that grew in volume until she reached her grand chair. The chair, a throne of the wise, groaned softly as she took her seat, the ancient wood settling in its place, an acknowledgement of her presence. "Your spirit has danced with the songs of the ancients, and I am now told you long for the embrace of the familiar," Arafa soothed. Alara's eyes searched the room, her thoughts a tangled net of wistfulness. "Indeed, Elder," she replied, "my heart aches with the yearning for home." Alara's eyes widened as she took in Arafa's full visage. Gone was the elder, who had met her with a warm embrace and gentle guidance. In her place was a figure of such grandeur that it seemed the very essence of the ancients coalesced to form her attire. The gown she wore was intricately tailored, each thread a story of valor and wisdom. A headdress of feathers and precious stones crowned her head, the colors bright and vibrant, akin to the plumage of the mythical phoenix that hearkened rebirth and power. Arafa's smile grew warm. "Ah, the tug of the familiar," she mused. "It is a force as strong as the tug of the moon that pulls the ocean, lifting the tides that are pulled onto shores, from the smallest to the grandest size." She gestured to a velvet cushion that lay at the side of her chair, its hue a rich, deep blue. "Fetch that cushion for me, child," she instructed gently, "and let us see if we can bring a piece of Vonda wood into this chamber of wisdom." Alara moved with the grace of a deer, her footsteps soft and silent. She picked up the cushion, its softness a reflection of comfort and familiarity. "Oh yes, the call of home," Arafa said as Alara approached. "It is a powerful thing, the bond we share with the earth that bore us." Alara held the velvet cushion close, feeling the plush of comfort seep into her very being. As Arafa gestured over the arm of her chair, the very air seemed to shiver with anticipation. Slowly, the staff upon which her father had placed the orb, that ancient staff of the Grand Elder, slid into view, the Seers Orb gleaming atop it, as a jewel in a crown. It was as if the songs of the ancients themselves had orchestrated this moment. The room grew as still as a held breath. The staff now floated gracefully to Arafa's hand, the orb pulsating with an inner light that spoke of secrets and destinies. Her eyes sparkled with the wonder of 1,000 untold tales as she took the staff. "The call of the ancients have led you here, Alara. Come retrieve the orb, child," Arafa urged in an expectant tone. "The song of the ancients grows stronger by the minute. They yearn to share their knowledge with you." Alara approached the staff with a reverence reserved for the sacred, her eyes locked onto the orb. It pulsed with a gentle rhythm, speaking secrets of the world beyond. With trembling hands, she reached out and grasped the orb from the staff. The moment her fingertips made contact, a warmth surged through her, an envelope of welcoming heat that seemed to resonate from the very core of her being. The orb's weight was heavy as she remembered, as if it had been waiting for her touch to unlock its full potential. "Yes, my dear, the hands of destiny," Arafa said with a knowing smile. "The orb recognizes its true seer. Take your seat upon the cushion, child, and let us see what wonders it holds for you." Alara settled onto the velvet, her body taut with anticipation. The cushion offered comfort and protection, a stark contrast to the rigidness of the wood beneath. Arafa leaned forward in her chair, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Now, young seer," Arafa instructed, "place the orb to your forehead and let the ancients guide your vision." Her voice soft yet firm, Alara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment upon her shoulders. The sounds grew louder, as if the very fabric of the chamber was urging her onward. She raised the orb with trembling hands, its warmth pulsing in time with her heart. The moment the crystal surface touched her skin, the room around her faded into oblivion, replaced by a sudden cacophony of colors and sounds. It was as if she had plunged into the depths of the ocean and emerged in a kaleidoscope of light. Her vision cleared, and she found herself standing in the cobblestone street she knew so well. The whispering grove was replaced by the familiar sight of the sea breeze and the distant murmur of Van der Wood's village life. The cottages with their thatched roofs announced the warm fires and comforting embraces within, each one a testament to the resilience of the people who called this place home. The aroma of fresh bread and stew wafted through the air, a siren's call to the hungry pangs of her stomach. "What do you see, child?" Arafa's voice was a gentle prodding, a hum of encouragement amidst the clamor of distant voices. "Mother," Alara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "She's hanging the wash." Her voice grew more animated with each word, painting a picture of her mother's industriousness. Her apron worn of 100 chores done with love, and the fabric snaps with the rhythm of her movements, echoing the waves of the sea that kiss Van der Wood's shore. "Ah," Arafa murmured, her own gaze misty with nostalgia. "The steadfastness of a mother's love is as reliable as the tides." Alara's eyes sparkled as she watched her brother, Taran, play in the dusty street with the other village children. Their laughter was a chorus of echoes, resonating through the cobblestone corridor of her vision. Taran's mischievous grin was as infectious as a rumor, and she could almost feel the warmth of the sun on her own skin as she watched him chase after a whirling top, his feet as nimble as the wind. "The joys of youth are ever present," Arafa said with a knowing smile. how they danced through the streets of Van der Wood like the leaves before an autumn gale. Alara's eyes grew misty as she watched her father, the impact of his hammer striking the metal gate resonating through the air, alive as the heartbeat of the village itself. The metal sang with the echoes of his craftsmanship, each blow a verse in a ballad of dedication and care. His posture was as stoic as the ancient stones that surrounded them, yet his eyes sparkled with the mirth of 1,000 shared jokes, a silent symphony of love and laughter. The esteem of industriousness, Arafa murmured, her gaze following Alara's, how they resonate through the very bones of Van der Wood. Alara nodded, her eyes never leaving the vivid scene before her. And there, it's Grendeldolf, the local merchant, ringing his bell on his cart, and poor Biscuit struggling to pull that heavy cart, she said excitedly, each note of her voice reverberating joys through the chamber, scenes she never thought she would long for so much. Arafa leaned back in her chair. Ah, young seer, she said with a chuckle, the echoes of home are indeed sweet to the soul. Alara's thoughts danced with the sound of her mother's laughter as she watched her brother, Taran, chase a ball down the street. Each giggle was a note in the symphony of their shared memories, as vibrant as the flowers that ushered the season's passage. Her heart swelled with the warmth of 1,000 summers, as she saw her father's eyes crinkle in a smile, his gestures of approval for a job he has done well, as clear as if he was standing beside her. And what of your brother, young seer? Arafa nudges with a smooth voice, guiding Alara's thoughts like a leaf on its journey. Alara focused her gaze on the orb, feeling the wave of her siblings' emotions wash over her. Taran, she murmured. The orb grew brighter, and suddenly she was in the midst of her brother's thoughts. His mind was a whirlwind of sights, a tapestry of curiosity and wonder. He is pondering the mysteries of the sea, she said, a hint of a smile playing upon her lips. The call of the waves speak to him of adventures untold, and he dreams of the day when he can cast his net into the waters of the vast unknown. Arafa leaned forward, her eyes alight with intrigue. Ah, the dreams of a young explorer, she said in a rich voice. Tell me, child, do you feel the weight of his ambition? Alara nodded, her eyes never leaving the pulsing orb. It is as if I am adrift in the echoes of his thoughts, she replied. His mind is as boundless as the ocean itself, and the visions of his dreams crash against the shores of possibility with the force of 1,000 waves. Arafa leaned back in her chair. Yes, the joys of youth, she mused, so full of promise and potential. Alara nodded, her gaze still locked upon the orb, her eyes reflecting the myriad scenes of her brother's dreams. He is a beacon in the fog of the future, she murmured. His spirit, as untamed as the waves of the sea. Arafa leaned in, her eyes alight with the knowledge of shared wisdom. And what desire does he hold for you, young seer? Alara's gaze remained fixed upon the orb, the light of Taran's spirit, a cacophony of hope and yearning. He dreams of adventures, she said gently, of journeys beyond the horizon, where voices of the ancients speak in tongues forgotten by men. And what of your own dreams, young seer? Arafa inquired, her tone a soft yet insistent breeze. Do they resonate with his own? Alara took a moment, her eyes still locked upon the orb, her thoughts as deep as the core of the earth itself. Our hearts are as entwined as the roots of the sacred grove, she said finally, her voice filled with the quiet confidence of one who had discovered a hidden truth. We are bound by the threads of shared dreams and the promise of futures uncharted. With a gentle sigh, Arafa nodded and said, The echoes of fate are a curious tapestry, her eyes reflecting the possibilities of 1,000 futures. Now, child, it is time for you to return the orb to its rightful place. Alara's hand hovered over the staff, the orb's song growing fainter as she loosened her grip. It was as if she was letting go of a piece of her very soul, the images of her family and home fading, like the echoes of distant thunder. Yet she knew, as Arafa told her, that to truly embrace her destiny, she must rely not on tokens of the ancients, but on the wisdom of her own heart. Arafa spoke. Now, young seer, the visions of the orb shall always be with you, as constant as the moon that guides the tides. Her voice a gentle caress of understanding. She took the staff from Alara, the orb nestling into its cradle as if it were the hush of a child returning to sleep. But for now, let us speak of your impending journey. Alara felt a pang in her chest, as sharp as the anticipation of an approaching storm, at the thought of being apart from her kin for so long. Arafa must have sensed it, for she placed a warm hand upon her shoulder. Fear not, for the truth will guide and protect you, she assured. Your mother's visit shall be as eagerly awaited as the first bloom of spring, a promise of love and connection that transcends the vastness of time and space. The Grand Elder's words brought a gentle smile to Alara's face, a show of comfort that eased the ache of homesickness. Now, young seer, Arafa said, I grant this exposure has healed your longing for home. Now we must prepare you for the final phase of your trials. The assessment awaits you after one more week of challenge and growth. Alara felt a thrill of anticipation, the hands of destiny beckoning her onward. The goal grew more vivid as the days passed. Each trial to come would be a thread woven into the tapestry of her fate. She faced tasks that tested her courage and her wit, her strength and her cunning, her compassion and her resolve. Each victory was a triumph, each failure a word of wisdom to be learned and carried forward.
Alara has found a way home, as short-lived as it may have been, and in so doing, unwittingly unlocked another essential element of the orb. How will this affect her trials moving forward, and what destinies lay ahead for our young seer? Find out this and more in the next chapter, Finals of the Trials.